Skyrocket Your Life is a podcast filled with pragmatic tools and practices to maximize and improve all areas of your life. From relationships to business to self-growth and happy living, your hosts Becky, Vanessa, and John Wheeler will give you insight to uncover your limitations, clear your roadblocks, and skyrocket you into a life full of possibilities. What is your biggest limitation? Ready to let it go? Don't explore alone. Join us every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back. Hey, so we're so grateful you chose to join us for Skyrocket Your Life podcast filled with pragmatic tools and practices to maximize and improve all areas of your life. I am Becky Vanessa and my co-host,
John Wheeler.
Yeah. And if you would like to know more about us, you can listen to our intro episode to learn more. Right? We're not going to bore you every time with talking about ourselves. Although we do love to talk about ourselves. Right, John?
Right. If you want to talk about us, just ping us. We'll happily talk about ourselves.
We'll happily talk about ourselves. So today's topic is having a millionaire, billionaire mindset.
Hence, we like to talk about ourselves.
Yeah, I need some sound effects where I could have just been like insert evil laugh, like yeah, cool. So, oh gosh, I love that question, right? So, what is having a millionaire billionaire mindset? Yeah,
and it's
right?
So like this one is one that pops. I heard can't even remember anymore what made me pick this one, but it was like the willingness to have like $1 million or $1 billion, because we're always talking about how we want more money and we want more things in our life.
Yeah.
But then are we actually willing to have it? And so to me, I'm like, part of that is being willing to have this millionaire, billionaire mindset. If you're willing to be a millionaire and have the mindset that you are and behave and be a millionaire, then people will just think you're a millionaire, which will make you more of a millionaire.
Love it. Well, hence going into
head trippy. Head trip number one.
Number one. So we've listened, if you have listened to our podcast, or if you're new listening to our podcast, John and I, our target is to keep these podcasts quite quick for you, right? Save, we respect your time. And our target is to give usually 3 tips and tools or techniques, right? Or examples, or whatever you want to call on our topic. So we're going to dive right in. Today we have 3 tips, tools, and techniques for having a millionaire, billionaire mindset. So like even what John was just talking about kind of segues into number 1. And I'm not giving them all 3 right now because you have to listen.
We like to torture.
Yeah. So, okay. Number 1, the willingness to do whatever it takes, right? And what is that? That's never give up, never give in, and never quit. It's a big one.
That one makes me laugh so hard every time I hear it. It's so funny. And so one of the things you want to do too is, give examples of millionaires and billionaires that are actually using these.
Right.
And so for this one, the willingness to do whatever it takes, we have a quote from Elon Musk, which is, when something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor.
Mm.
And I really like this because, and then this came up for me the other day with doing some of the courses and things I'm taking, of like being willing to actually have the millionaire, billionaire mindset. You're going to have to be willing to let people judge you and to be different and to stand out and not fit what everyone else says you have to do. Like people who are millionaires and billionaires, they get that way because they're doing something innovative. They're doing something different. Like they're inventors. Yeah. It's like, here's this idea, here's this possibility, here's something I want to do, and they find a way to do it, and they do it no matter what. And they don't go into, oh, it's going to be successful, it won't be successful. They're like, this is important to me, I'm doing it.
Right, right. And a lot of people always were like, you're crazy, that's not going to work. Right. Like how many, and usually, like now we look at them like, wow, they were amazing. But, at the time, like the Wright brothers, they're like, you're going to fly. That's nuts. You're crazy. That'll never work. Right. So
People belong on the ground. Birds belong in the air.
yeah, totally. And, just to give you an example too of one of my businesses, I was told they're like, that takes forever to start. Basically you can't do that. Like I heard that all as well. For a second when I had people telling me that, I was like, oh, then I was like, wait a minute, it doesn't have to be like that. Right. Like well, actually for my one business, they're like, it takes you at least a year to get a startup project with that. And for me at the time, I was like, I don't have a year. Like, I don't want to wait a year. And then, like there was so many interesting things that came up that people were telling me like that won't work. There's already too many people doing it. There's too much competition. The things that I heard were unbelievable. And you know what? I was like, well, like it doesn't, so to myself, I was like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like it doesn't have to be that way. Right. And I have to tell you, within 4 months, I had my first contract when they said that you won't even have it for a year or two. Right. So if you hear somebody telling you you're crazy or it won't work or that's dumb or those different, things, remember the Wright brothers, remember Thomas Edison, right? That we all use electricity now, right? Like those people were told they couldn't do it. It's dumb. It won't work. So if you do have an idea and people are telling you that, you're on the right track.
What a great measure of success. If everybody hates you, you're succeeding.
You're succeeding. If everybody tells you you can't do it, you're succeeding.
I love that.
And you will have people, so that's really like what you said too, like the willingness to do whatever it takes, the willingness to be judged, and not buy into what everybody else has to say. And so that goes into as well as never give up, never give in, and never quit. So in several of my businesses, there's many times where I felt like I hit a dead end, right? Like I was at a road, I've worked my ass off. There's no other options. It's not going anywhere else. I was at a dead end. And the never give in, never give up, never quit, I would continually use that and then look at this dead end and say, well, like, what else can I do here? What else is possible? Like what other options are there for me? Because I'm here to tell you there's never a dead end, right? You might have to go a different direction. You might have to, kind of trek down that path that's not paved yet of the road, but there's never a dead end. Usually by just stopping and saying, okay, like I see this looks like a dead end, right? But what else can I do? Well, my favorite questions when, even in business and having that mindset are, okay, who do I need to talk to? Like, what can I do today? How can this work? Like what will work? And just for a side note, a lot of times if you hear me and John saying great question or ask questions, like when you ask questions, you're not asking your brain to answer those questions for you, because 9 times out of 10, you're not a millionaire at that point, and your brain didn't get you to be a millionaire. So when you're asking questions, you can look at it different ways. It's like it's like a form of prayer, right? Like you're asking God, or it's you're asking the universe, you're asking whatever, Yahweh, whatever you believe in, to step in and help, right? To help, because your brain got you to where you are. You need other options at that point. And so asking questions, like I said, as a side note, we're big on that. Ask questions, like ask people questions even, right? Like, how did you do this? Like, how did you, if you hit a dead end, like, what did you do? How did you get out of it, right? Always questions are my key. One of the keys to success, for sure, in all I do. So
when I think that leads, like a lot of what you just said in the last few seconds leads into number 2 of this too, which is the second one we had is what you think or believe is what you create.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I think it was really cool how you said, like, 9 times out of 10, when you're asking questions and answering it with your mind, you're not
Yeah.
in the millionaire billionaire mindset. So why is your mind answering?
Right.
It's like, shut up, brain. Just shut up. So
Yeah.
the quote we had for this one, and this one is a little more popular, is whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, which was Henry Ford.
Which I love.
And
Yeah.
that is huge, because I am guilty of, functioning from my brain and my thoughts. And, how many times do I have conversations with people and I'm like, oh yeah, here's all these amazing things that work, and let's do them and let's try them. And we're like going and we're going and we're going. And then like 3 days later, I look at it and go, what am I doing? I'm not good enough. Who am I? Why did I decide I get to do this? And it's like, does a millionaire ever look at that and say, I don't deserve to be a millionaire?
Right.
And maybe they do. I haven't met one yet, and I'm sure they're out there. There's, somebody that does everything. But really paying attention to your thoughts and what you put out there and what you say and what you truly believe. Because you can say you have a millionaire billionaire mindset, but not actually believe you have the ability to be a millionaire or a billionaire.
Right.
And just because you're thinking it but you don't believe it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And then in addition to that, I'm a firm believer of everything you do creates. So that includes whatever you're thinking, whatever you're speaking, right? Like those just tie right into here is a creation. So like even for homework for you guys today, right? Like some kind of home play, be aware of when you're saying, I can't, I could never, I want, I'm not good enough, right? Like
that's insane.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't have enough time. I talked about that a little bit on Facebook. Like, I don't have
That's
money.
My favorite.
Yeah, I don't have time. I don't have the money. So what you think and you believe is what you create. So if you would like to do things differently, right? Like you can't, like that quote, you can't keep doing things the same and expect a different result, right? That is the definition of insanity, right? So just a little bit of home play for anybody that's listening that really would like to have that millionaire billionaire mindset and start creating different things in your life, whether it's a business or whether maybe it's just more money, right? Or more travel or more like things that you'd like to do and have. Be aware of everything, like what you think, right, or believe is what you create, and include that into your thoughts and your words that you're speaking. Just be aware of it.
You might even take that a step further.
Okay.
Too. And if you have something come up that's a new thought that you haven't had, and it's like, oh, you can do that. And you're like, I have gone 3 months and I've been creating this, and now all of a sudden I've decided I can't. Look at, is that actually your thoughts? Or are you just very much aware of someone else's thoughts or someone else's ideas
like in the
of
beginning
you?
that we talked about when people think you're crazy and you can or can't do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what is possible and what you can and can't do, like you know more than they do about what you are capable of. So acknowledging that that is what will launch. That's what's going to skyrocket your life right there. Knowing what you are capable of, regardless of whatever words someone else is saying to you. I had profanities come into my head and I filtered myself. So whatever that is, wherever you're putting someone before you and before your knowing and making them the expert of your life, rather than you being the expert, maybe you look at that.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
And trust yourself.
That's a couple really, even just right there, that's amazing. That's huge for us. So let's dive into number 3, which is, if you get an opportunity, always say yes. Always say yes. And we looked up that, like some different quotes for this too. And Richard Branson is huge on that. And his quote is, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity, but you are not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. This is
Because you
One,
can never learn more.
oh, well, this is a huge one because it kind of correlates with number two. Like when I would say I would be at a dead end, and then I'd be like, who can I talk to? How can I, like, how can I change this? What could da, da, da? The next thing you know, I would have somebody come up and ask me to do something for them. It was the craziest thing. And this actually is true in one of my businesses. So I literally had this happen. Because a lot of people are with my MBV Pro Marketing company. I've had that one now, I want to say 8 or 9 years. And it's amazing how that company has developed and where I began compared to where I am now. And the set of tools and practices that I've learned are freaking phenomenal that actually led to my other business. So hence, that I got an opportunity early on, and I had someone that knew and trusted me, right? They knew that I was a go-getter, right? Like, and I would do whatever it took. And they're like, Becky, can you do this for me, this particular job? And I was like, yeah, of course I can. Yes, I'll do it. I got off the phone and I was like, what the bleep did I do? I have no freaking clue. I had no idea how to get that done, but it was a huge opportunity. The next thing you know, I had somebody show up that gave me advice, right? And so it all unfolded then, right? It was just me saying, yes, I can do it. That I learned that job. I Googled it. I literally watched YouTubes. I mean, I scoured the internet and I literally learned what it would take to do it. And it really in detailed a programming. Right. So I learned how to do programming and different things when that was never even in my awareness. But, from that one person 8 years ago being like, can you do this? And just to be willing to say, yeah, when I had no clue. It was really, nerve wracking at the time. But, so it, leads back to that one. If somebody, after asking questions and, just asking for more in your life and be willing to have that millionaire, billionaire mindset, and somebody comes up and says, hey, can you do this for me? You said, well, yes, I can. And then turn around and be like, what the did I just do? And then figure it out. It's huge. Huge. Right?
Well, so with that, you added the little bonus tool, if you will, of
Yes.
Also
are you going to give them a bonus? Are we going to give them the bonus?
I guess we can.
Well, this is 4 tools now. We said we were only giving 3.
Just this one time. The
Okay.
only time. If they listen to this long, they deserve the bonus.
They deserve it.
If they didn't listen this long, well, this may just change everything for them and they missed it. So there you go. Yeah. So the last one is creating your financial awareness. Yeah. And so I think a lot of times when opportunities come up, we also can go into, well, I don't have the money to do that, or that requires a software I don't have, or I'd really love to do that, but I don't have the expenses to travel there. Yeah. And a big piece to creating more financially and with money is being very much aware of what's going in and out. And this is something I feel like none of us ever want to do. We don't want to look at the money coming in, because if we look at money coming in, we have to look at how much money is going out. Yeah. And then we go into the crazy of, did I make enough money to offset my outcome? Did I have enough, coming in that I'm even going to be able to live? Yeah. And really, if you're staying in that mindset of millionaire, billionaire, it's not looking at, do I have enough money? It's looking at, oh, here's somewhere I need more money. So what can I create to have it?
Right. What can I add to my life today to create that? Right. Because for a long time, I didn't want to know. Just to be honest.
I'm still working on this because I honestly still don't want to know.
Because if you don't, if you don't know how much you're making a month, you can pretend you either make a lot, you can pretend you don't make enough. It keeps you in the unknowing, and if you don't know, nobody knows. So what does that look like even? So I want to give you an example how huge this tool was for me. Is that for the longest time, I also believe so every morning I wake up and sort of set my intentions for the day, what I'd like to create. That's just part of living my life like on purpose, right? Like it's just something that I do. And for a long time, I was like, I would like to make this amount a month. I'd like to make this amount a month. And I'm like, oh, yay. Yeah. Okay. Like I would add that to like my form of prayer in the morning, right? And asking questions. And when I finally decided to get to the financial awareness, I was making more than what I've been asking for. So like, I know that might not sound ridiculous, but it sounded, I was like, what am I doing? So here I've been asking for this amount, like, and I actually made more. So to me, I was like, geez, oh, Pete's, Becky, like, this whole time, kind of like, not that I've wasted my time, but like, well, whatever you think and say and create, am I creating more lack in my life? Because here I'm like, I'd like to make this amount a month. And I was actually making almost double that. So hence though, like what John said, if you're not willing to know what you make, how can I ever ask for more? Right? Like if I'd like to have rental investments and, you know, I need another $10,000 a month to purchase like rental investments or property or different things like that. And I don't even know what I'm making. Like, how am I ever going to create that?
And
right?
how can
like,
you say yes to those opportunities?
And then how
like
can you say yes?
that's where this is like the bonus, but it really fits with that is because if someone offers you an opportunity and you're saying no because you can't afford it, but then you're actually making way more money than you realize, you're saying no to all these opportunities that potentially create more money.
Yeah.
Which is totally maybe where we end that conversation, because that is a topic I have later on too, like, you know, using money to create money. Weird concept.
Right. Well, and I really believe that, you know, ask and receive is in the Bible over thousands of times. Right. And so every morning here, I'm like, I'd like to make this. And then here I'm making more than that. And then so, you know, God's like, hello, dummy. I'm already giving
Hi,
it.
I did that. We're ready for something more.
And ask for something else and ask for something different. So this all kind of, you know, ties in together because number 2, we said be aware of like everything you think and speak because that creates. So that also ties into then, you know, like the last one that we just said is being aware of your finances and how much you're actually making. So then,
which ties into number 1, being willing to do whatever it takes. Weird. We didn't even plan that one, folks. That just is some weird, creepy stuff that worked perfect.
Totally. So thank you. I don't know how long we've been on here, but we might be going over our...
This was one of our longer ones.
Quick amount of time that we've given. So we will be doing calls on these topics as well. You can find us on Facebook or different things, or sign up for our email mailing list, and we'll have those topics on there as well in case maybe this is something you'd like to dive deeper into. If this has been interesting for you, like this particular topic, and it, you know, sort of pings you as in something that you'd like to dive deeper, we will be doing calls, which are online, kind of like in this format as well, where you can come on and ask questions and listen to us talk further on this topic.
And we might let you see our face.
Maybe, yeah.
If you're lucky.
If that's something that's interesting to you. So, you know, if you like what you heard today, be sure to like and share the episode on your social media. You can find us
now on iTunes too. You can like and give us reviews on iTunes.
Yeah. Oh, cool. How's it going that?
Yeah. We're uppity up in this technologically advanced world.
Oh my gosh, how much fun. So we'll check out our Facebook like page too, which is facebook.com/Skyrocket Your Life podcast, and tag us so we can see, right? Like it and then comment and tag us if you have any more questions. And if you'd like to contact us or have topics you'd like to hear us talk more about, you can email us as well at sylpodcast@gmail.com. And did you give our link to the SoundCloud, John, a minute ago?
I didn't this time, but it is soundcloud.com
Yeah.
/SYL podcast.
Yeah.
And if you go there, you can like and share from there, or you can create an account and subscribe and get notifications. Or they've actually set it up where you can find, if our show is amazing and you want some other shows, they will link you to shows that are similar. So you can get all sorts of fun on SoundCloud.
Super cool. And I realized that I might not have said where you could find the call on this topic. Let's see. You can go to our Facebook. We will be posting it there and sharing it. So if you're interested in diving deeper, and I believe those calls are usually an hour and a half long, and they're $50, which is a great price. Usually for a private consultation with me, I charge over $250 an hour. And I believe, John, you're close to the same, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So we decided to do these calls like that on these certain topics because we're getting a lot of questions from people, like, hey, how can I, dive deeper into this topic? And so we put together the calls where we can get everybody online in a group and be able to talk more on, just get into that deeper dive of these conversations, and then open up the forum for you to be able to ask questions on the topic as well. So.
Or you can also, if there's a topic that we haven't covered that you'd like us to dive into, we're happy to do that too. Just send us, the information of what you'd like to talk about or what's going on. And if we have enough interest, or like there's a few people that have the same question, we can do a podcast or a call.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I guess that's bye for now.
Bye-bye. Go create your life.
Yay. Have that millionaire, billionaire mindset. All right. Bye, everybody.